And so I understand that the counsel to the Edo State Government, Barrister Enwanta, has finally joined us to look at the powers that the Edo State Government has in suspending the local government chairman, and of course the fact that it has been transferred from the Federal High Court to the state's court. So thank you so much, Barrister Andrew Enwanta, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's get
to our viewers at home.
All right, you're welcome, sir. So let's get more details from you as regards the position of the Edo State Government on the Federal High Court, transferring the local government chairman case to the State High Court.
Yeah, thank you. The news of that decision was well received by the Edo State Government. And let me quickly remind you and our viewers at home that the governor acted based on the provision of an extant law passed by the Edo State House of Assembly since 2000. That's the Edo State Local Government Law of 2000. And as such, that law has not been questioned in any court of law in Nigeria as we speak. Even one of those two cases that the court noted, as the Federal High Court noted, is before the Edo State High Court. One had to do with Section 10 of the law, and the other one had to do with, I think, just a mere interpretation of that same provision of the law, not Section 20. So the Federal High Court, in its wisdom yesterday, said Section 20 of the local government law is a state law for which only the State High Court, by virtue of Section 272 of the 1999 Constitution, has jurisdiction over. And even besides, this issue has to do with a state government decision as against that of local government chairman, which does not fall within the provision of Section 251, sub 1 of the Constitution, that lists out areas where the Federal High Court has jurisdiction. For those of us who want to look at history, the Federal High Court started as a revenue court. It's a specialized court. It's like going before the National Industrial Court for a similar action. And I think the Federal High Court was right in declining jurisdiction. And by that case has died a natural death before the Federal High Court. Of course, the transfer does not mean that for some of the defendants that are not too comfortable, they cannot explore a further right of appeal. So I think that is for the legal team to decide. But we are still looking at the possibility of an appeal, because the court was supposed to strike out that action, because the action itself was not just an abuse, but offends the principle of res judicata. Because there's a similar decision the Chief Judge of Edo State had given, where the court only made declaratory statements without any order. And at the appropriate time, those steps will be taken.
All right, so where does
commend the Federal High Court of that decision?
All right, so where do we place the Nigeria Supreme Court's rule, that's judgments in July 11, 2024, that actually grants autonomy to the local government?
The fact that the Supreme Court gave that judgment is even what we are very happy about, because it deals with the issue of autonomy. Mind you, what happened in Edo State was not a case of outright dissolution. It was a case of suspension by virtue of Section 20 of the Edo State Local Government Law. And that law was not just made in limbo or in isolation. Section 7 gives the State House of Assembly the power to legislate for local government. That's the second leg that deals with the power of the House of Assembly to make a law for the function, finance, administration, and structure of local governments in Nigeria. It was on the basis of that provision of the Constitution this law was made. And for us, we are very pleased with what the Federal High Court said yesterday, that it is the State High Court that has jurisdiction. And I think the plaintiffs in that case, the claimants in that case, namely the PDP that sponsored those 18 persons who were also co-claimants, will do the needful.
But we heard that the chairmen were suspended and removed. Kindly help us clarify that part.
They were later impeached, because this case has nothing to do with the removal, their impeachment. This particular case that they filed at the Federal High Court had to do with their suspension. They still have individual cases on their impeachment across various High Court divisions of the state. And we believe that the High Court will do justice to that other one, because they were properly impeached, if you ask me.
Okay, so help us get clarification on the allegations that billions of naira were remitted to certain persons in the state under dubious means, and that actually necessitated the governor to move for their suspension.
Yeah, thank you, because there was a particular account where, that was labeled environmental security, And on a monthly basis, the immediate past administration led by Obaseki, they withdraw as much as 800 million. And when this new government came, they could not account for it. And these monies were collected for over a year. And the information at our disposal was to the effect that this money was spent for election, which of course is not the purpose and defeats the whole idea behind that simple decision that has to do with financial autonomy for local government. And as I speak to you, Edo State local government councils enjoy financial autonomy. Local government chairmen, I can give you an example, my own local government, Edo local government, the chairman there, does all kinds of projects. He's into asphalting of roads. He gives out vehicles to security agencies like the police and others. And I think that is what that Supreme Court judgment was about, to grant financial autonomy to local government and not to allow governors to unilaterally dissolve democratically elected councils. But the law is that it is councillors that have the power to impeach a local government chairman. That was what happened in 17 local governments in Edo State. And the governor under Section 20, all our local government law has the right to suspend and every local government chairman.
So peradventure,
done about that position, that remains the law.
Peradventure, before I let you go,
it remains the law.
Yeah, I understand. Before I let you go, peradventure, the State High Court now eventually passes a sentence that favors the local government chairman. What would be the next step for the Edo State government?
I don't think the word sentence is appropriate. It's a civil case. The matter has been transferred there, and it's like a newborn baby. I don't agree with the lawyer for PDP and the local government chairman. I mean, Igbe, who said it's for continuation. The matter is starting afresh. It's starting the novel. It's not before the Edo State High Court. Though the files have been transferred, but of course the facts are different. So when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But I can assure you that that case is dead on arrival.
Thank you so much, Barrister Enwanta, for clarifying this particular issue with us on the news.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.